Hello, gentlemen. I'd like to talk about the notion of over-intellectualizing things for the sake of mental safety, and how it doesn't help if it keeps us from what we really want to do. Your life can't just be safe intellectual certainty. It should be balanced with the real world to some degree, at least, so you can close the loop of certainty in your head with evidence, like a scientist would. Thinking your life isn't enough.
It has to be real too, gentlemen. I'm a creative person at heart. And a little while ago I was looking to get a new cinematic camera. I wanted to express my thoughts, words and ideas in a completely different way and challenge myself creatively. Now, I'm not into technology per se, but I am into creating with it.
So, as is common, I spent some time online researching the look, quote unquote, that different cameras produce.
A while ago I was looking online at another lens review for my camera.
And as I'm watching countless YouTube channels by self-declared creatives and vloggers, I noticed that their entire channels are simply footage of them going about their day and about the technology they're using, and not much else. You know, the camera, the lens, the drone, their boosted boards, while saying words like super cool, rad, dope.
Like, oh my god.
Now, don't get me wrong, I like being entertained as much as the next person.
But the majority of them kept talking about how important creativity and story was to them, and finding some kind of elusive meaning within this creativity and these tools that they were using so they could find some sort of meaning in their lives, because it seemed to be important to them. But all I saw was trait neuroticism barely alleviated by trying to simulate a free and creative lifestyle. From what I saw, the content of some channels is entirely about unboxing new creative technology. You know, and they have affiliate links in the low bar to ensure that new and more unfulfilling addictive toys are sent to them by the manufacturers, forever stuck in this loop of being a child on Christmas morning unwrapping presents.
The sun's coming out, Melbourne weather. If you ever come down to Melbourne, believe the hype, it's 4 seasons in one day.
After a few months of delaying my camera purchase through this research, I noticed I was getting a little anxious. It's then that I realized that the anxiety building up in me over time was because I was delaying an essential aspect of what I believe a human being is here to do. That is, to create. And it's then that Alan Watts spoke in my head.
The menu is not the meal, gentlemen. The menu is not the meal.
The menu is not the meal. All this endless safety of over-intellectualizing the menu in our heads, it was not satisfying my human need to create. The variety of the menu, the have-it-all of the menu, was a comfortable cage keeping me from doing stuff. The safety of thinking didn't satisfy. As Morpheus so famously said, the body cannot live without the mind. But let's not forget the reciprocal notion also. The mind cannot live without the body. You have a body and a mind. It's a healthy symbiotic relationship.
A one-sided relationship doesn't work, as I'm sure a lot of you guys who are still in the dating game can attest to. The two things need to be in harmony.
Here's a tip if you're stuck in your own mental menu, and it's worked for me. Start writing your honest thoughts down, and don't stop until you start switching on your own light bulbs.
I found through writing, the more honest you can be with yourself, the more you can be revealed, the more you will reveal yourself on paper. And sometimes it's shocking to find out through the language that you use when you write how badly you treat yourself or how less you think of yourself. Be honest on paper. I found that's a great thing to do, because on paper I think you're stronger for revealing the real you, because if you keep it up here in the menu, your ego's in charge.
Remember, the system, women, bosses, advertising, all talk to you and feed you your mental menu daily. But journaling and writing this kind of intimacy is a great way for you to finally talk well to yourself instead of others talking to you, and reveal some truths to yourself, instead of constantly being talked to by the world's memes and demands of you. Just something that works for me, and I hope it's food for thought. As a side note, I noticed something really strange while I was shooting today. Birds were lining up in orderly rows of 3 for me, almost posing. I'm sure the superstitious among you will make up an answer for me. Anyway, so I finally got my camera and started to connect my mind and body again. And sure, there's a plethora of better cameras out there, higher spec, more ostensibly perfect in various ways. And there'll be an even better one next week. And the week after that. You see where I'm going with this. How long am I supposed to wait? How long am I supposed to postpone living creatively? How often do we spend longing for something here, which is really only us being stuck up here in the menu, in safety? How often do we choose anything? And how often have we got something creative to show for it at the end of the day? The grass is seldom greener. I came to realize I just needed to pick something now. I've had this note on my monitor for a while now that reminds me to get off eBay and tech reviews and just get on with creating the stuff I love doing with what I have, and stop the procrastination masked as upgrades to my tools. Today, we're a society raised on endless mental menus rather than real human meals. Aching almost to feel embodied and whole. Dare I say it, human, and not just ineffectually living up here in your menu. Don't just think your own way, gentlemen. Go your own way. Later. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of my next video. If you're still not being notified, guys, I've outlined some steps in the low bar next to the red dot that should help. And finally, feel free to donate through Patreon or PayPal. It keeps me creating and I really do appreciate it. Thanks.